Hi everyone, how's it going? This video is a bit longer than others, but I hope you'll be staying till the end. This was my first time trying out gouache, and I did so by using the Ghibli set, which I have heard so much about. I won't really be doing a review or giving tips on this yet since I'm a beginner, but as a beginner I wanted to post this project I've been busy with and take you along with me to see my learning curve. I'd like to think that from the first painting that I did on the top left to the last one, I had improved a little on using the gouache. These first two paintings were a bit simpler because I knew that it would help me get started with the medium. Aside from not using gouache before, it has been really long since I actually used any paints at all. I used to use acrylic as my main medium when I was painting for school, but I haven't really touched them since then. It is partially why I think I chose to use gouache instead of maybe watercolor for this piece, because I hadn't really tried mixing paints or anything. I'd also watched a few videos and reviews on gouache, and it's really interesting to me how different the result was when I mixed colors on the palette versus maybe when I mixed it straight on the paper. I actually really enjoyed how that worked and used it quite often along the piece in order to give different colors or effects to the painting. With regards to the actual subjects of the paintings, I based it off of different Studio Ghibli scenes, which is something I've been wanting to paint for a while. There were only 9 rectangles, so although I had quite a few references, I had to narrow it down to 8 because the last one, the one in the middle, I ended up choosing something a little bit different. I feel like this one took a bit longer to finish off than the others, even though it wasn't as complicated. I'm actually quite happy with the result in terms of the colors, etc. However, I did notice at this point that the colors dry a little different to how they seem when they're wet and you actually set them on the paper. This helped me quite a lot later on, especially with skin colors, because I actually, when mixing the paint, I actually made them lighter than I wanted them so that they'd dry more or less to the color that I wanted as an actual result. You will probably also notice that I don't actually do the faces until later on. This isn't usually my process. I usually do the face first. However, I wanted to make sure that everything was dry before coming in and doing the eyes or the nose, because I didn't want the paint below to activate and affect the result of the painting. I'm not sure if you can tell since it's quite sped up, but here I used the technique I spoke of before where I laid down the blue color, and before it actually dried I just used the white on the paper in order to blend it in and give it a sort of cloudy effect. It worked really well because it made some parts of the white blend into the blue, and I was quite happy with how that turned out. So as I got to the third painting, I think I was getting a little more used to the medium and mixing the colors. Although I know the basics, as I said, I had been finding it a bit difficult to get the right colors which I wanted, and obviously trying not to waste a lot of paint in doing so. One of the things I noticed is that I used quite a lot which I know is normal, but I actually wanted to try and not depend on it so much. I love the color choice provided by the set and don't really feel like it limited me much, which was very helpful. I started this video a couple of weeks ago, but it took me a while to actually finish it as I've been occupied with my exams. In the middle of this, I was also lucky enough to be able to start filming with a new camera. Before I was just using my phone. Unfortunately, it's taken some getting used to, which is why some of the footage may result as a little bit blurry or the lighting might not be as good as other times. However, I think towards the end I adjusted it a little better, so hopefully in future videos this won't be an issue. I think I'll stop rambling now, but I hope you enjoy watching the process and maybe even learn a little bit from it. I might revisit the idea of making a small review of this set and what I've learned and experienced as a beginner. When I was looking it up, I found a lot of videos of people who had actually tried out this set, but they'd all used gouache before. I don't believe there's many videos out there from beginners using this set, so I hope this is useful.
They said, don't fall, don't forget all the things you've been taught, you've been told. Don't blink, don't run, don't turn left or turn right or look straight at the sun. My mind's going in circles, I'm trying to fight it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Just start again. Oh, you won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall fast to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down. Break down. Until you break down. They said, be meek. Look beneath the bed before you go to sleep. Keep on, I shine. You'll surely get burned if you reach out and touch. My mind is a battle, I'm trying to hide it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Just start again. Won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall fast to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down. Break down. Until you break down. Oh, you won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall fast to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down. Hold on, hold on. You're not lost, you're not lost. Hold on, hold on. You're not lost, you're They said, don't fall, don't forget all the things you've been taught, you've been told. Don't blink, don't run, don't turn left or turn right or look straight at the sun. My mind's going in circles, I'm trying to fight it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Just start again. Oh, you won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know get burned if you reach out and touch. My mind is a battle, I'm trying to hide it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. On to the place where all this began. To start again. Won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall first to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down.
In case you're not familiar with him, this is Hayao Miyazaki. I think I'm pronouncing it okay, but he's the Japanese animation director of the Studio Ghibli films. I really wasn't sure, as I mentioned before, what to do in this last blank rectangle, but I think I'm quite happy with what I chose in the end. As a reference, I just took a photo I found online and tried painting him in a similar style to the rest of the painting. He isn't perfect, but I think I'm satisfied with how it turned out. It was quite difficult for me not to go back in and add more details. However, I think I felt that although I could have done that, I sort of like the simple style which I ended up painting them in.
Until you break down. Hold on, hold on. It's not lost, you're not lost. Hold on, hold on. It's not lost, you're not lost. Until you break down. Hold on, hold on. It's not lost, you're not lost. Hold on, hold on. It's not lost, you're not lost.
I think the most nerve-wracking part of this painting was actually removing the washi tape. It had been on for a couple of weeks, so I really did expect it to go horribly wrong and rip most of the paper. I'm not gonna lie, it did tear off a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. I simply went back and covered the ripped areas with a bit of white paint in order to sort of blend it in, and unless you look at it really closely, you can't really tell. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and liked the result. It is definitely a favorite of mine, but that just might be because I really love the Studio Ghibli films. As always, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and follow me on Instagram for more daily content. If you have any suggestions or thoughts, don't forget to comment below. Thank you.